What's going on, MSFers? Duelim here, back here with another video, and today we're going to be talking about all 8 of the reworks for Mighty Avenger and Immortal X-Men, as well as the 2 new characters. We're going to be talking about ISO8 classes for every single one of them. We're also going to be talking about T4s. So first up, we're doing Invisible Woman, and as you can see, I haven't even built her because she's going to be part of the war team, and I don't like war, but I might end up building her if she has some Cosmic Crucible uses because her kit's interesting, especially her passive because it gives a lot of barrier, so that could be interesting. Let's look at the T4s here. The basic T4, kind of meh, just 5% of this character's max health. You could do it. Sure, why not? It's not super important, though, because you're not really going to be basicing that much. If the fight's lasting that long, it's not really a good thing. So the basic, kind of meh. The special here, clear all negative effects from self and all Mighty Avenger allies. Immediately, that's pretty great. Apply stealth to all allies is also great. Clear 2 negative effects from all other allies. That's also great. Makes her more plug and play. So the special's pretty good to put a T4 on. For the ult, all this does is give her damage, actually. So attack the enemy with the most speed bar for 150% piercing, which does a lot of damage. Invisible Woman hits pretty hard with new stats. And then bonus attack that enemy for 150% piercing plus apply stun. So this can ignore taunt and everything like that because it's just going to the enemy with the highest speed bar. So this is a really, really good T4 here. So absolutely do this one. And then for the passive on War Offense, the first time this character, any Mighty Avenger ally drops below 30% health, clear all negative effects on that character, apply defense up and stealth to that character, and barrier that character for 30% of this character's max health. This is an absolute T4 as well. This is really nice. And then I'm actually, weirdly enough, putting Raider on Invisible Woman because of her passive. So when an enemy deals damage to this character's barrier or an ally's barrier, attack that enemy for 250% damage. She's pretty much always giving barrier or always has barrier out there. So she's going to be pinging pretty much everybody. So I pretty much thought to myself, might as well put Raider on her so she's pinging. So she's essentially like Kestrel. Because there's really no other good ISO on her unless you maybe want to put Striker on her. But the problem with Striker is with her special not doing damage, it's not going to do a Striker proc even if you target a vulnerable because it's not doing damage. So that's kind of annoying. But her ult does if you put the T4 on it. So that could be kind of interesting. But I don't know how that interaction is going to work, and I don't know if it's honestly worth it. So I think Raider's going to be good. I wouldn't go all the way to purple yet. Wait till you use her in war. Wait till you see how good she is, because she's really good. I tested her. She's super, super fun. Next up, we got Vision. Vision's going to be part of the Mighty Avenger team as well, so part of the war team. So getting into his kit, he was obviously reworked from Bionic Avengers, so you might have some T4s thrown into him already. The basic, still kind of crappy. Don't bother with it. The special is 20% damage to primary target. Generate 1 ability energy for random Viv Vision ally. So, again, useless for this team, but you probably had it because of the Bionic Avengers. For the ult on War Offense, if this character has a Scarlet Witch ally, which he will, and 3 or more Mighty Avenger allies, he will. Reduce speed bar for 30%, so it's a turn meter rewind, so that's really, really good. Definitely do this one. For the passive, on spawn in raids, apply immunity for 2 turns to self and all Bionic Avenger allies. That doesn't help this team here. And then this actually does, where's the part for Mighty Avenger? A War Offense, apply 3 deflect to self and all Mighty Avenger allies. That's all it does for War Offense. So shockingly enough, a passive can be kind of skipped here because it's just kind of meh, honestly. It's not that great, not really worth it. It's just kind of meh. For ISO, we're going to be putting Raider on him because everything he does is AoE. His ult, his special, and his basic are all AoE. So he's going to be a Raider without a doubt. Next up, we got Scarlet Witch. And Scarlet Witch is finally getting a decent rework. So for her basic, this character is not at full energy, or sorry, if this character is not at full energy, apply offense down for 2 turns, defense down for 2 turns, and slow for 2 turns instead. It's okay. I don't really think this team is going to be getting to very many basics. I think they're going to be deleting teams in War Offense pretty quickly, so I don't think this one's really worth it. For the special, apply defense up to all allies. That's kind of cool. That's not bad. We like defense up. It's an extra 50% healing as well. So this one's pretty good. For the ult, Chaos Wave, we got 15% piercing on war offense if this character has 3 or more Mighty Avenger allies. Reduce the duration of defense up on each enemy by 2. Any positive effect that has a duration of 0 expires instantly. So this is kind of like the Thanos passive, but only for defense up. So it's interesting. It might be worth doing just to take defense up off of people. I'm not sure if this is going to work with like the safeguard, but this has the safeguard kind of workaround wording. Any positive effect that has a duration of 0 expires instantly. So I don't know if this is gonna take off everything. It's kind of okay, but not the most essential T4. And for the passive, on spawn on war offense, if this character has 3 or more mystic enemies, generate 1 ability for a random vision ally. Okay, like not the best. Like it'll make vision ult turn 1, so I guess that's kind of cool. So I guess there's that. I guess if you're going against like an Odin and some Mystic allies like Night Stalkers, that can kind of help. So if you're going against like an Odin Night Stalkers or a Mephisto Night Stalkers, this could be helpful. And then Vision can rewind, even though Vision can't rewind because of Mephisto Pact. So it doesn't really matter. But here's what we're gonna do for her. We're going to do Striker on her because she calls an assist from a Vision ally. So she's going to be a Striker because she's going to be doing an assist. Here's the assist, I think. Here it is. No, it's not. Maybe it is. I don't know. There's a counterattack in here somewhere from Vision. Vision will counterattack, and then that will do a Striker Skirmisher combo. For the passive here, on spawn, apply 1 charge to a maximum of 5 to a random Quicksilver ally. That doesn't do anything. On turn, 50% chance to spread a negative effect from an enemy with a negative effect to an adjacent target. That's a weird call out. But yeah, it's kind of a thing. And then, yeah, that's pretty much it. That's pretty much it. Scarlet Witch, kind of meh. It's a war team. It is what it is. Next up, we got Falcon. He's going to be part of the raid team, so you got to build him. We're going to be doing a Raider on him, as you can see, because he's got a bunch of AoE. He's got a bunch of damages, so he's going to be doing Raider, absolutely. For his basic, probably not worth doing. It's an extra 10% piercing, some extra damage, not much at all. I don't think it's worth it at all. For his special, in raids, if this character has 4 or more Uncanny Avenger allies or on war offense, if this character has 4 or more Mighty Avenger allies, fill speed bar for self and all Mighty Avenger and Uncanny allies by an additional 20%. So this is going to be a pretty good one. I'm going to end up putting this one on as well because this is for raids, so it's going to be helpful. For the ult, we have 50% damage to all enemies, 20% piercing to primary attack, and then in raids or on war offense, apply bleed to all enemies. I put this one on. I think this is going to be pretty good. Falcon also can have some plug and play, even though he's a little slow, but he does a lot of damage and can help your allies lap some enemies really quickly because of his special giving so much turn meter. For the passive, in raids, on spawn, apply immunity to self and all Uncanny Avenger allies, and then on war offense, on spawn, apply immunity to self and all Uncanny Avenger allies. So cool, applying immunity. So this is a for sure T4 as well. Definitely need to use this one. Next up, we've got Cable. Cable's part of the Immortal X-Men, so the Cosmic Crucible team. This is not confusing. You're just stupid and confused. But no, it's really confusing. This 2-team into 3-team hybrid is really confusing. All right, so Cable I have as a Striker. You could also potentially put him as a Raider because his special is AoE, but I like Striker on him, especially because on the Immortal X-Men, really nobody else is Striker. So for the basic... the T4, definitely not needed. It's 40% extra damage. If you've got a lot of T4s laying around, maybe you do. I blew through my stockpile because of all these reworks, so not really needed. Special is 40% damage to primary target, 20% damage to all secondary targets, and if this character has charge, clear all positive effects from the primary target. So really, really nice. I definitely did this T4, so clearing all positive effects from the primary target is super helpful. That was nice. I did that one. The ult is 60% damage to primary target. If this character has a Jean Grey ally, flip 2 positive effects to negative effects on the primary target, and flip 2 negative effects to positive effects on self. So that's kind of nice. It was some extra damage as well. His ult hits extremely hard now. If you haven't used Cable, the rework Cable yet, his ult hits really, really hard. It's really nice. For the passive, always apply counter to a random mutant ally or self on charged, plus 10% barrier. It's not that great. It's a counter attack. It's fine. The 10% barrier also is okay, because the barrier is, again, max health on new stats, so that's kind of nice. But it's not a necessary thing at all. But it's okay. It's not bad. Next up, we got Beast, and Beast is going to be part of the Raid team and the Crucible team. So Beast is a healer. Beast is absolutely a healer, without a doubt. Beast is a healer. For the basic, 40% damage to primary and secondary targets. Don't waste your time on that one. For the special, 50% damage to all enemies. If this character has a Jean Grey ally, clear an additional 2 negative effects from self and all Immortal X-Men and Uncanny Avenger allies. Again, the CC and the Raid team. Also, clearing all vulnerables, and this is every single game mode, and just X-Men allies, Uncanny Avengers, so that's really, really nice. Another change was this attack gains extra 5%, 500% focus, which is also great. So clearing vulnerable is something really, really powerful. I really like that. For the passive, we've got in raids at the end of this character's first turn, if this character has 4 or more Uncanny Avenger allies, generate 10 ability energy for self and all Uncanny Avenger allies. So this is essentially just making it so simming is going to be a lot easier, so you don't have to worry about cooldowns. This just makes it so you're full cooldowns every single time, no matter what. I like that T4. So Beast, healer, special ult, and passive T4. Next up, we got Polaris. Polaris is only part of the Cosmic Crucible team. I have her as Raider because everything she does is AoE. She's also clumping everybody together, making her basic even better. We've got primary and secondary damage here on her basic, but 5% barrier, most injured non-summon ally. It's okay. I really don't think this is needed at all. This is just kind of an T4. For the special, 30% damage to primary and secondary targets, and 40% piercing to primary and secondary targets with bleed. So that's kind of nice. It does some extra damage. There's going to be bleed out because of Polaris's ult. So I did it just for extra damage. Also, I love Crucible, so I always pretty much do everything for Crucible. That makes sense. Next up for the ult, 40% damage to all targets. Kind of lackluster. And then flip all regeneration to bleed. That's kind of nice. We do like flipping regeneration to bleed. So this will be pretty nice. So I did do this one. Extra damage, flipping the regeneration. For the passive on Crucible offense, lower the crit chance of all enemies by 25% per Immortal X-Men ally up to a maximum of 100%. So this is going to lower the crit chance of like Illuminati, even though they're not beating Illuminati. Spoiler. This is going to lower the crit chance of like if Cabal's on defense for whatever. Don't know why they would be there. Superior 6 if you're going against them, whatever it is. So lowering that crit chance is really, really nice. But yeah, Polaris, pretty straightforward. Next up, we got Storm. And if you have not used Storm, holy hell, she's a bad bitch. She's nuts. So she's absolutely a Raider because everything she does is also AoE. She's going to be part of the Immortal X-Men and the Uncanny Avengers. So that's going to be the Raid team as well. Or not the Raid team, the War team. That's the word. The War team, right? War team? Uncanny Avenger? No, she's part of the Raid team. She is part of the Raid team. I got there. Don't worry, everybody. Don't worry. I got there. We're going back. We're going back, everybody. Don't worry. I got there. So yeah, she's definitely part of the Raid team as well. Again, it's not confusing. You're just stupid. It's so confusing. All right, so Storm with her basic 20% damage to primary and secondary targets, gain 2 charge up to a maximum of 20. And the reason why I did this one is because the more charges she has, the more damage she's going to be doing, especially with her ult. Also, if she's assisting, like in the Cosmic Crucible rules right now, she's going to be getting more charges, so this helps that out a little bit. Again, you really don't have to do it, but I did it because I'm a fiend for Cosmic Crucible. Next up with the special, if Jean Grey is an ally on Crucible offense, if this character has 3 or more Immortal X-Men allies, or in raids, if this character has 3 or more Uncanny Avenger allies, copy and clear all charged on all enemies to self. So you're copying and clearing. So like Black Knight, cool. Give me those charges. Clear all positive effects on all enemies. That's kind of nuts. And then apply trauma for 2 turns to all enemies. This is also the 2-turn stun as well. And this is also the slow. So you're putting trauma for 2 turns, a 2-turn stun to the primary target, and slow. I like this T4 because it's taking the charges off, and it's also giving the trauma, if I'm not mistaken. So this T4 is an absolute essential. Next up, we've got the ultimate. 10% damage to plus 10% damage to all enemies, plus 10% damage per charge. Do this one, it's extra damage per charge, so it's increased by 100% per charged. So this is really, really, really nice. And then last up, on turn, gain 3 charged up to a maximum of 20. Do this one, you're getting extra charged on turn, so her ult's gonna be doing more damage, so you can delete some folks. And it's also, it doesn't say it anywhere in here, but it is a permanent kill as well. Does not remove revive. It is a permanent kill, so they cannot be revived from her ult killing people. She is obviously a raider because everything she does is AoE. Next up, Jean Grey, part of Uncanny Avengers. She's going to be the Cosmic Crucible team. We're going to get into her basic here. So basic is applying defense down, heal block, extra damage, extra defense downs. So this T4 is kind of okay. Just do it. It's Cosmic Crucible. Just do it. Her special... On Crucible offense, apply Safeguard for 2 turns to self and all immortal X-Men allies. Immediately do it. This could say 0 damage to zero extra damage to allies. You're still going to do this T4 because Safeguard is nuts. For the ult, 120% piercing to all enemies. Apply ability block for 2 turns. Absolutely do this. And then on Crucible offense, if this character has 4 or more immortal X-Men allies, or in raids, if this character... Oh my god, I thought they were getting rid of the books. If this character has 4 or more Uncanny Avenger allies, enemies cannot fill or reduce speed bar for themselves, allies, or enemies. This does not apply to speed bar gain through normal means. Guess what this means? This means it's essentially the Captain Britain passive in Crucible and in raids. So it's like a North Star and Captain Britain put into one because it's Cosmic Crucible and raids. This is an absolute shoo-in, 100%. If you only put 1 T4 on all of these teams and all of these characters, this is the one right here. So she's absolutely going to be T4'd here. And then for her ISO, I'm probably going to put Striker on her, even though her Striker attack just puts extra defense down and heal blocks. Because for... the Cosmic Crucible team, there's really no other strikers on the Cosmic Crucible team other than Cable. And then for the raid team, we got Falcon as a raider, Storm as a raider, and Beast as a healer. So Jean Grey, I'm going to put as a striker just because we need strikers on the team. And then last up, we've got Hercules. So Hercules, his abilities... For his basic, this is probably the most lackluster basic I've seen on a brand new character in the longest time. So... the basic, it just does 70% extra damage. Who cares? For the special, we've got 70% damage to primary and secondary targets. Apply ability block to primary target. Apply offense up for 2 turns. Ability block, cool, awesome. Apply offense up for 2 turns as well is great. So do that one. For the ultimate, 100% piercing to all enemies. Reduce speed bar on primary target by 20%. Absolutely do this one. That one's really, really nice. Reducing speed bar is always great. And then for the passive, in raids on spawn, apply Safeguard for 2 turns to self and all Uncanny Avenger allies. On war offense, on spawn, apply Safeguard. You know, if it has Safeguard in it, put the damn T4 on. That's pretty much how it goes. So we're going to use the same logic for Hercules that we did for Jean Grey. So for the raid team, it's going to be Hercules, Jean Grey, Falcon, Storm, and Beast. We need strikers, so Hercules is also going to be a striker with Jean Grey. And then for the war team, Hercules will also be striker because for the war team, we have Falcon, Vision, Invisible Woman, Scarlet Witch, and Hercules. So again, Invisible Woman's a raider, Falcon's a raider, Vision is a raider, Scarlet Witch and Hercules will be the 2 strikers. On the raid team, Hercules and Jean Grey will be the 2 strikers. And then on the Cosmic Crucible team, Jean Grey and Cable will be the 2 strikers. Once again, it's not confusing. You're just dumb. No, it's super confusing. Please, this is not what we wanted when we said we wanted another Sinister 6, Superior 6 rework kind of crap. This is confusing to me, and I've read this for the past 25 minutes while recording, and I read this for 20 minutes before this. This is still confusing to me, but it's fine. It's fine. But that's going to be the TLDR on the 8 reworks, 2 new characters, 3 new teams, Cosmic Crucible, War, and Raid. I hope you guys enjoyed this one, but until next time, this has been Duelum. Later, MSFers.